Westfield Memorial Hospital provides high-quality health care to residents of Western New York, offering patients the most sophisticated medical advancements while keeping the ease and familiarity of a community hospital. Support for Chautauqua Sunrise has been provided by WRFA 107.9 FM, Jamestown's public radio station, streaming online 24/7 at WRFALP.com. Low power to the people. Meter's Restaurant, a family tradition for over 50 years in downtown Ripley, is a proud supporter of Chautauqua Sunrise. Meter's provides all-day dining, banquet services, and custom catering, specializing in pie. Funding for Chautauqua Sunrise is provided in part by the Chautauqua County Industrial Development Agency, with offices in Jamestown and Dunkirk, helping businesses to prosper throughout Chautauqua County. From supporting people with disabilities to enjoy great lives, to providing health care services that are available to anyone, the Resource Center has been improving our county for more than 60 years. Learn more about how the Resource Center makes a positive difference in people's lives.
Is getting vaccinated on your to-do list? We can help you check it off, because we make getting vaccinated easy. You've got this, because we've got you. To learn more, visit yougotthis.usaging.org.
From the Access Chautauqua Studios in Mayville, it's Chautauqua Sunrise. Chautauqua Sunrise is hosted by Doc Hamels and supported by the award-winning volunteers at Access Chautauqua. We are here to share local news, colorful interviews, and events of interest to everyone. Chautauqua Sunrise is broadcast live Saturday mornings each week from 9 to 10 a.m. Send events via email or call us live. Check us out on YouTube and Facebook. And now, from the Access Chautauqua Studios, it's Chautauqua Sunrise.
Wherever you are in the world, I'm Doc Hamels, and welcome back to Chautauqua Sunrise. If this is your first time watching, perhaps you are visiting the county, welcome. I always like to welcome folks to this beautiful area that we all live and share. If you haven't figured out Chautauqua County yet, keep going, because there's so much here in the county that we have to offer, and it's just a great place to live. And when you look around and read the papers, you know, we do pretty well here. Yeah, we had a tornado come through, but it missed us basically, but that happens once in a blue moon. But otherwise, the weather's really cool here, and people say, well, you get all that snow. Yeah, but it melts. You just stay home, that's all. All right, so I want to say good afternoon to all my listeners on WRFA 107.9, low power to the people in Jamestown. Thanks for joining us. We enjoy the fact that we can get our audio over into the Jamestown area. And we've had a wonderful working relationship with WRFA for many years now. So please continue to listen to those folks. And if you want to see what we look like and you're just listening to us, you can go to YouTube and look up Chautauqua Sunrise, put in the date. We're out there forever and ever as long as YouTube is running. Okay, thanks, Jeff. Throughout the show today, if you want to call in, have a question or comment, either for myself or my guest, or you have an event, Linda Spalding is a great example of how she will share various things that are coming up for her Lions Club. It's free of charge. We're happy to share that. So give us a call at 716-753-5225. Again, 753-5225. And when we're off the air, because we're only on the air live every Saturday morning from 9 to 10, that's it. Otherwise, what you see is a tape version of us on the air. You can write to me at Chautauqua Sunrise, all one word, at gmail.com, and let us know what your event is. A lot of times people send us posters and things like that, and we're going to get to some of those here in a little bit. Okay, let's see what else I want to tell you about. We have a variety of things that have been going on since we last talked with y'all. This world is constantly shifting and changing, isn't it? And I just want to make a statement, because I don't get political, but I was very saddened to see the potential assassination of former President Trump the other day. It doesn't bode well as a nation that, you know, we can't assemble peacefully and express our views regardless of where you are in the political scheme of things. So, of course, you know, for myself anyways, I hope he does well and he recovers, and that the Secret Service and folks can keep all of us safe, not just political candidates. And we just need to report things if we see something and share it with the proper authorities. So that was really a sad moment. Also, the other day, the world stopped almost with the internet, huh? We were filming just the day before for Oak Island Plus, and I thought, whoa, we missed a bullet there. Pretty crazy when you think about it, that we can just, in a split second, just crash and not be able to communicate. You know, I guess it wasn't completely shut down, but you know, those folks at the airports, and people are watching right now, are probably shaking their heads. They were probably stuck in who knows where. I don't know. I don't even know how to comment other than the fact that we sure depend on our technology, and hopefully this won't happen again, but I have a feeling that it might. So I guess we just take things in stride. But you know, they always say technology has both the good and the bad, just like everything else that we do in our lives. So anyways, I hope for those of you that were in the middle of an airport that you got to your destinations and that you're safe, and that things are better in our internet world. I want to do a shout out to our friends in the Ukraine, Natalia and all her friends that watched the show. Hope you're doing well today and you're safe and sound, and that, as always, you know, we're thinking of you and sending you good wishes over there, that you'll have a speedy end to the war there. All right, let's move on to a few other things. I don't have a poster for this, but my friends over in Westfield asked me to let you know that this is a mark your calendar thing. So for those of you that will be around right after Labor Day, the following weekend, September 7 and 8, Justin, any idea what's going to happen? None, huh? No. It's going to be the Grape and Wine Festival in Westfield. Imagine that. All right. Westfield. You don't drink wine. All right. Well, grape juice. It's good for you. The Grape and Wine Festival, September 7 and 8, the following weekend after Labor Day. They're going to have some really fun things, and we're going to have a couple folks on here pretty soon to talk about that, and hopefully maybe even a show about the whole event. Also, I want to share with you some good news. You know, I like to do that. We talk about some heavy-duty stuff sometimes and dark stuff, but this is really cool. In the beginning of the show, you always see these things, people saying that they're supporting our show here and stuff like that. They're called underwriters. Well, one of them that I'm going to talk about right now is Meters Restaurant. Meters is going to be inducted, listen to this is really cool, by the New York State Historic Business Preservation Registry, okay, for 64 years of continuous business in Ripley. So it started out with Andy Meter back in 1961, and it's been continuous for all these years. So at July 23rd, I think that's a Tuesday, from 2 to 3 p.m., Meters Restaurant is going to have an induction ceremony. I've already put it out on Facebook that the public is welcome to attend. And for us, this is a big deal. You don't get too many businesses on the Historic Preservation Registry for a business. So anyways, congratulations to Bob and Sheila, and of course the Babcocks that owned it before them, and before that, the Meters, and I probably have forgotten somebody in between, but it's basically been a family business through relations and relatives for all of these years. So we wish you many more years of success, and thank you for supporting Chautauqua Sunrise. All right, I do have some other announcements, and this one is another good one from one of our underwriters. Okay, let me, hang on a minute. I'm gonna wait. No, I can read this one. I don't have a slide. I'm gonna jump around a little bit, Jeff. All right, the Chautauqua County Industrial Development Agency, they're one of our underwriters. Listen to this, ranks first in Western New York Okay, the County of Chautauqua Industrial Development Agency was the top-ranking economic development agency in Western New York for 2023. That's us. That's us right here. That's according to the Buffalo Business First, which is like, it's like the gospel here in the Bible of the business world. In their July 12th issue, according to the Business First, it's the first time the Industrial Development Agency has landed in the number 1 spot out of 7 different ones on the publication's ranking of the economic development agencies in Buffalo and Western New York. At the end of 2023, the IDA reported, listen to this, I wish I had a drum roll, a total of $842 million worth of deals brokered. Let me say that number again, $842 million worth of deals brokered. That says that something's going on here in the county. Not only was it the largest total of any agency in Western New York, but also the largest single year total ever reported by the IDA in its 51 years of operation. In addition, the IDA was involved with 34 different projects in 2023, more than any other economic development agency operating out of the Western New York region. Chautauqua County, we're growing. All right, it says here, 2023 was unprecedented in terms of the breadth and size of projects assisted by the IDA, as well as job retention and creation, according to Mark Geis, who's been on the show before. He's the Deputy Chautauqua County Executive for Economic Development, and he's the Chief Exec over at the IDA. Mark also continues saying, I'm grateful that the Buffalo First has recognized the IDA in this fashion, and I'm grateful to our staff, board, consultants, and other partners for everything they do. All right, so according to P.J. Wendell, he says, our county executive, I'm thrilled with the work being done undertaken by the IDA and the extended economic development team, which includes the Partnership for Economic Growth in the County Development and Planning and Development Group, according to P.J. So, it's important to know these things, and you say, why am I talking about this? Because it's good stuff, and y'all should know about that these folks are the ones that are generating the businesses, and that brings in tax dollars, and then it helps the whole county grow as a whole, okay? So, moving ahead, this is kind of fun. We had Jason Sample on here not too long ago, and he was in Mark Geis, and they were talking about something new. So let's go to slide 15, Jeff. And the Chamber of Commerce is launching its new name and look. And CHQ is the new logo that the IDA has promoted, and we're branding ourselves. So I guess I could CHQ Sunrise. That could be our new name, right? Chautauqua. All right. It says here, the Chamber launches new name and look with a focus on innovating, unifying the business community countywide, and building community. The Chautauqua County Chamber of Commerce Thursday unveiled a new name, logo, colors. According to Dan Heitzenrader, the Chamber president and CEO, he says, the CHQ Chamber reflects the work we do. We are the Chamber of Commerce for all of Chautauqua County, and this brand is dedicated to telling that story. He added, ever since I started at the Chamber 3 years ago, I've gotten the question, which Chamber of Commerce do you work for? Is it Jamestown or Dunkirk or Chautauqua County? We are one Chamber of Commerce, according to Dan. Throughout our more than 2-decade history, we have represented and provided services and programs for businesses countywide. The new name and logo bring that integration to the forefront. And I'm proud to say, Chautauqua Sunrise, us guys here, we're members of the Chamber, or CHQ Chamber. According to Heather Brown, a board chair, she says, as the Chamber is poised to enter its 25th year as a county-wide organization, the time was right to evaluate where we have been and where we are headed. Last year's strategic planning process launched us in this direction, and we are so excited about the refresh and about the future of the Chamber and our business community. So you got the IDA creating business and bringing in funds, and then you've got the Chamber of Commerce, new branding. It sounds like everybody's working together in the county, and we are happy to be part of that. All right, let's keep on going, Jeff. Now, some friends of ours that have been on the show over the years, something special is going to go on in WRFA. Ready for this one? I don't have a picture for this, but you can think about this. 10,000 Maniacs. Radio documentary and live panel discussion coming soon to WRFA and the Reg. Crying Out Loud Productions and WRFA present 10,000 Maniacs. Can't Ignore the Train. It's a 4-part radio documentary by the late Aaron Perez, set to premiere on WRFA 107.9 FM Friday, July 26th at 6 p.m. So Friday, July 26th, 6 p.m. on WRFA. It says like this: 10,000 Maniacs Can't Ignore the Train, that's the title, chronicles the genesis and the early career of Jamestown's own 10,000 Maniacs. It begins by illustrating the music scene in 1978, Jamestown, and through interviews with the band's peers and early collaborators, it details the subsequent 6 years. In this episodic telling of the band's journey through different sounds, identities, and lineups, documentarian Aaron Perez captures the enduring themes of youth, friendship, and creativity, culminating in the band's first major label record release with The Wishing Chair, as many of us remember. 10,000 Maniacs supported the project from the beginning and assisted in the accuracy of the project, making the band's archives available for use. Documentary producer Emily Drew noted, through the process of working alongside the archival inventory project, many never before heard rehearsal recordings were uncovered. It was paramount to the authenticity of the documentary. That content like this was included. Aaron was personally excited that we were able to include the voice of the late Rob Buck. Many of you know he was the lead guitarist, the Maniacs, and it was done in a very interesting way. 10,000 Maniacs Can't Ignore the Train will air again 6 p.m. Friday starting 7/26, July 26th, and continuing thereafter on 8/2, 8/9, and 8/16. So, and then you can get it on streaming live and so forth. All right. Following the final episode of WRFA and Crying Out Loud production, we'll host an event called 10,000 Maniacs Can't Ignore the Train, Conversation and Reflections with the founding members. The panel discussion with founding members, including Jerome Augustiniak, Dennis Drew, Steve Gustafson, and John Lombardo, will dive deeper into the band's genesis and early evolution. The event will take place at the Reg Linnaeus Center for the Arts Media Studio, and tickets will allow access to the pre-panel reception and so forth. All right, so this is really cool, and congratulations to the 10,000 Maniacs. And now for a little aside. Many years ago, many of you know I'm a musician, and we played for a fundraiser, and a lot of people don't realize this. This was the very first Lucy Fest before there was this big Lucy Fest, and we were all at the Armory, and Dennis Drew was here a few years ago, and he and I were talking about this event. He remembered it, thank goodness, and my brother tried to tell me something that I did not remember from that event. Our band, there was a band that opened for the event, and then we were sort of like the featured band, I guess, and so the band before us played, and there were people there listening and clapping, and we were out in the halls waiting to come on. And then we were setting up our equipment, and the other band was taking down their equipment, and this one guy with an amplifier said hi to me and his nice smile and so forth. And then here we are, now fast forward, I don't know, 30, 40 years later, and my brother says, "Do you remember who opened for us?" I go, "No," and he told me. I go, "They did not." Well, I asked Dennis Drew. In fact, the 10,000 Maniacs opened for us that particular day. And as I told Dennis and Steve, their career went whoop, and our career went like this. Anyways, I have a personal connection with the 10,000 Maniacs, and I'm just so pleased for them, and it's just great to promote them as well as the region. So great. And if you are interested in looking at the interview with Dennis or with Steve here on Chautauqua Sunrise, they're on YouTube, and you can put Chautauqua Sunrise, put in their name, and it'll pop up. And finally, we have a slide. Chautauqua County Historical Society, as you remember, presents its 87th annual antique show. That's like today and tomorrow, okay? 10 to 4 each day at the Chautauqua Suites Hotel and Expo Center in Mayville. And I believe, if I remember right, it was like $10, I think, to get in. And they've got all sorts of folks there. And it goes, of course, to support the Chautauqua County Historical Society at the McClure Mansion in Westfield, New York. So if you're interested, it's 10 to 4 and 10 to 3 tomorrow. And I've been to these antique shows, and it's lots of fun, and you get to see some stuff from Chautauqua County, and you also can bring something in like the Antique Roadshow, and you can say, what's this worth, and they'll give you some ideas on that. All right, I'm going to be quiet here in a second. I just want you to know that I got my guest waiting in the wings who can't wait to get on, and we're going to talk about some fun things here in Chautauqua County. So stick around, we'll be right back. This is for you.
In Chautauqua County, election inspectors are the backbone of our democratic process. They're our friends, our neighbors, living in our communities, the very heartbeat of democracy.
Without having election inspectors and the electoral process going on, we wouldn't be able to determine on who's going to be our leaders.
Every election, these dedicated individuals ensure that every voice is heard and every vote is counted. Their commitment is what makes our elections fair, transparent, and authentic.
I think it's important for anyone, regardless of what their political opinion is, to be able to come and exercise their right to vote.
But we need more people like them, people who are willing to step up, serve their community, and be a part of something bigger than themselves.
I enjoy the day, I enjoy the people, I feel good about the process.
Join us in upholding democracy. Apply now to become an election inspector. Sign up at votechautauqua.com.
And as always, we're only as strong as we are within our system to make sure that people have the opportunity to vote. And I've met a number of election folks, that are inspectors and so forth, and it's a very long day, but they are integral to keeping our democracy running smoothly because they make sure that our votes count. Okay. My guest today is someone that I met here a long time ago, and she tried to get to the building, and maybe she'll remember and smile here in a second. And she comes into the door, and she's, like wet and cold and shivering. And I said, "What's the matter?" And she said, "I couldn't get my car up the hill." She had this little car, and it was icy day. It was a horrible day, as I recall. So Lori Cornell, I don't remember how long ago that was. That was years ago.
It was.
Do you remember that day?
Yeah, and we still have crappy cars in the Cornell household. But
I wasn't saying your car was crappy. I was just saying you couldn't make it up.
It couldn't get up there. It was a January snowstorm, if I recall. Yeah, maybe 15 years ago.
Yeah, it's been some time. So anyways, and you were representing the governor's office, I think, at that time. Does that sound right?
Oh, that might have been my county legislature days, actually.
It could be. I can't remember. All I know is that you looked so haggard at the door. I felt so bad that you were here. Get this,
I was covered in
lady
snow.
some hot coffee.
Well, most of your guests don't walk a quarter of a mile.
No,
to
they
get
don't.
to the
I said,
studio
she says, I left my car way down
snowstorm.
there. I go, what? You should have called us. We would have come got you. Where I live, everybody has four-wheel drives.
Yeah, no.
So, Lori, how are you? I haven't seen you in a while.
Great. Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely.
It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, we seem to kind of intersect every once in a while, and it's always fun to talk with you. Lori, I don't know if everybody knows too much about you as far as where you're from and where you went to school. People like to know these things.
Sure.
So what do you want to tell us about yourself?
So a little bio 101 here. So I'm Lori Cornell. I grew up in Chautauqua County, proudly a native. My hometown is Dunkirk. I lived for a time in Jamestown. My kids were born and raised there, and 6 years ago we moved to Bemis Point.
Okay.
So I earned my bachelor's degree from the University of Notre Dame in government and international relations. Master's degree from St. Bonaventure from their business program in strategic leadership, and have spent most of my career in politics and government, everything from serving in Washington, D.C. to New York State to here locally in Chautauqua County. By and large, my favorite of all public service is here locally. I love local government. I love our community, and I'm just so proud to call it home.
Yeah, good news that you heard about with the IDA and meters and the Chamber of Commerce.
It is,
Yeah,
it's
sounds like
a
we're
great
kinda
lineup today, right?
Yeah, sometimes it lines up.
CHQ proud as it is.
And that's the whole mission of my show, is talking about the good stuff. We talk about some of the other stuff, the dark stuff I call it, but it's all part and parcel of what we do. And a lot of times the good stuff is the fact that we're working on the stuff that's not so good.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
So, so government, I mean, I don't know too many people that actually went to school for government, you know? So why did you do that?
And Notre Dame at that time was simply calling the political science major government and international relations or international studies. So essentially poli-sci major, I think they call it poli-sci
Yeah, I remember
now.
poli-sci.
But
I
why did I study political
I mean,
science?
like when you were young, you said, "Oh, I think I'd like to go and work in government."
Yeah, I think it was sort of a natural transition from a student that loved social studies. So I always liked social studies and history, and knew that I wanted to do something in the community to try to make a difference, to try to utilize my background in education toward an impact here in Chautauqua County.
Mm-hmm. So when you said you were in D.C., did you live in D.C.?
I did. I was in D.C. for a few years, a couple different times, but I interned in the Clinton White House. I don't know if you ever knew that.
No.
Yeah, pre-Monica Lewinsky days. I'm that old, Doc.
Wow.
Yep. And then I also, after college, worked on Capitol Hill for a few years
like
as
a
a
page?
legislative assistant. I was like a for real staff person.
So for real, pages are like volunteers, right?
Right. Well,
So
they're
this was
students. They're students.
But you weren't a student. You were actually on the payroll. We were paying your salary.
I was. You did.
So who'd you serve?
I worked for Congresswoman Carolyn McCarthy, who, if you remember, she was. I'm sure you will as soon as I trigger your memory there.
My old brain cells.
Her husband and son were shot on the Long Island Railroad in the 1990s, so she became an advocate for safety measures to help prevent such things from happening in the future. Brady Bill advocate, if you remember back into the 90s. Policy making there, but that was Carolyn McCarthy from Long Island, and then I worked for Bart Stupak, Congressman Bart Stupak from the Upper Peninsula in Michigan.
Wow.
So I was a legislative assistant, helped to craft legislative policy and initiatives.
I did not know all this.
For real?
Well,
I did not.
Maybe it's in my memory bank.
You talk to a lot of people, I've been fortunate enough to have had a very diverse experience. So usually when I talk about my bio to date, my background, I say just in a nutshell, I've worked at literally every level of government in both elective and appointed positions. So,
wow.
Yeah.
So you were actually on the floor of Congress?
I was, yeah.
Well,
back in
wow.
the day.
You miss it?
More importantly, I was a Chautauqua County legislator. I was the minority leader here.
I remember that. How long ago was that? I can't remember.
Oh gosh, I was a county legislator from 2010 to 2013. I can't believe it was that long ago.
Yeah, that's like 12 years ago.
Seems
11
like
years
yesterday.
Ago. Yeah. Well, you had an interesting career, and let's see, you got like a basketball team at home, don't you?
I do, yeah. How could I forget? So
that's my job.
And I don't. Yeah, I did try to remember. I used to bring them back in the early days.
Yeah.
I would bring a boy or two onto the show here. Have them sit off in the side there and experience.
Now it's not cool.
Well, yeah, now they can't get out of bed at 8 a.m. Are you kidding? Like, sunrise is noon in my house. But I have 4 teenage sons.
Wow.
So I have a 14-year-old, a 16-year-old, 17-year-old, and a 19-year-old.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Whew. Okay.
So 2 about to be in college. I'm about to be half down. I can't believe it. So, 4 boys for the last 19 years.
We had 3 boys and a girl.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You're a foursome too. But so we'll be down to 2 next year. My oldest son goes to Miami of Ohio, and my number 2 son, Nate, just graduated from Maple Grove, and he starts Ithaca College next year. In a few weeks.
Now you're talking about old memories and feeling old. I have a son that retired from the Army.
Wow.
It's like, what? How's
And
this possible?
And I'm not just saying this, Jack, but you literally look the same, and I'm sure I do too now. You look the same as when I first started coming on the show.
Well, thank
and
you. I was gray then.
Like 15 years ago, maybe. No.
Well, thank you for that.
Distinguished.
Distinguished.
Not great. Distinguished.
All right. So let's get to the moment that we want to get to here. So I think I was looking at Facebook, or I don't know what I saw, and I'm reading it, and I go, what? You bought a newspaper? I go, like, this is like that show, I bought a zoo or something. That's the first thing. Is like, what?
Very similar.
Lori, what are you doing? And the good news is that I actually had the folks that owned the newspaper on here years ago. So then I go, whoa. So I'm going to let you tell everybody what you now own.
Sure. I love that entry. I'm going to use that.
I bought a zoo.
I bought a zoo.
You bought a newspaper.
So similar to. Because I'm going to use that analogy. It is kind of like a zoo in publishing. I have not been in publishing before. I'm not a journalist. But the reason I bought the Jamestown Gazette, and I'll talk about how we are now rebranded to the Chautauqua Gazette, but the reason I bought the Jamestown Gazette back in February was because I love this community. You know, it kind of all goes back to my passion, my desire to utilize my talents as best I can to help support this great Chautauqua County that you and I and all of our viewers love so well. The newspaper is a community newspaper. This is not our daily news. It is not, please keep reading your trusty Jamestown Post-Journal and Dunkirk Observer, though that is your local news, your daily news. The Jamestown Gazette, now Chautauqua Gazette, is a wonderful community feature newspaper. Walt Pickett, longtime editor of the Jamestown Gazette, he has since retired. Unfortunately, I tried to get him to come back, but Walt is a legend and an amazing writer and editor. But anyway, I think Walt always said it best when it came to the place of a community newspaper in a community. And your daily news tells you what happened. You know, the Post-Journal tells you what happened day before, week before. Your community newspaper tells you the wonderful things that are happening or that will happen, that are going to have happen. It tells you what you can look forward to, is how Walt put it.
Hold that thought.
Yeah.
Okay? Justin, I'm going to ask you to get on my camera because you need to do a close-up, okay? I brought a prop.
Ooh.
You said Walt Pickett, right?
Walt Pickett.
I brought this.
Oh.
This was a feature article.
I'm trying to read their year. Okay.
I think it's about, I don't know, you tell me. I can't remember. But
2015, March 30th,
that was
2015.
9 years ago. We were featured in the Jamestown Gazette, and I believe Walt was the writer, hey?
Yeah.
So this hangs in my office very proudly, and that was a picture that Randy took of me a long time ago. That was basically still in the first year that we were doing Chautauqua Sunrise, and he was my guest at that point in time. So thanks, Justin.
Very cool.
And so anyways, I just thought you might like to see that.
That is very, very cool.
A little archival. I'm part of your history.
I love that. and I love that you framed it. Yeah.
Of course.
No, that is so cool. But before I would be remiss, I should say, before we move on to another topic, if you don't mind, Doc, I shouldn't have mentioned maybe Walt before, of course, the newspaper's esteemed and incredible founder, Stacy Hannon.
Stacy's been on my show.
Really, the Jamestown Gazette is all a credit to her and the opportunity to succeed in her amazing footsteps is just such an honor.
So it's two owner only so far?
Only two, yeah. So Stacy founded the newspaper in 2011, and then she retired in December, and felt very strongly. She's extremely passionate about finding an owner to continue the legacy. She had no intention of retiring the paper.
So like,
she
what did she do?
worked hard
Put an ad out saying looking for owner of newspaper? I mean, how's
Well,
that work? I have no
I
idea.
know, sort of. I mean, fortunately, when you own a newspaper, if you want to say something,
Yeah, there you go.
you say it. Yeah. But, and that's exactly what she did. So in December, she opted to retire, this past December 2023. And in her last edition, front page story, she said, I'm retiring, looking for an owner.
Just as simple as
Give
that.
me a call.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so then, just like anything else, you negotiate and
So
figure
yeah,
that out.
so I spent a couple months reviewing the feasibility, and I worked. I should give a shout out to the Small Business Development Center,
Oh, sure.
our
Yep.
local branch
I've
at
worked with them
Jamestown
over the
Community
years.
College. Yeah, so Brian Ravegno, amazing individual, extremely talented, was my business advisor. So. And Eddie Sundquist was my attorney. We took a look at it for 2 months, crunched the numbers, developed a business plan, and
There you go.
set sail.
You know, let me say something about the Small Business Development Center. A lot of people don't realize that it's a free service for the most part, and that it's available at JCC.
Right.
And I send people there all the time. I want to sell widgets. How do I get started? Call these guys.
Right.
I want to sell whatever. I want to build whatever. Start with these people. Just don't start your business or whatever. They walk you step by step by step.
Sure,
Right.
right.
I think there's even a manual. There's a flow chart. And that's another
Yeah.
piece of the puzzle to all this. So you're an example of how you start a business or work a business, right?
Exactly, and and it is a business, and of course, like I was fortunate that Stacy Hannon had so well established the Jamestown Gazette, but at the same time, it relies exclusively on the support of local businesses and organizations. So advertising dollars. So that's something we have to look at
and I think
closely.
that's whether it's TV, radio, print of any sort, any organization. We always support, look for the support of local businesses to run ads and so forth. And I have my underwriters in the beginning of the show, and let's talk about that for a second. A lot of people don't realize that. They say, well, you got advertisers. No, I have underwriters. And my underwriters basically support us here in a different way, in the sense that they don't advertise. I can't say such and such has this product and this is what it costs, okay? You can do that though, because you are under different rules than I am. I'm under the Federal Communications, whatever it's called, FCC. Federal Commission. And you guys, I mean, are you under any rules? Does anybody oversee you guys?
Well, and you're a public radio versus I'm a private business. We're the community, the community newspaper, if you will. But in the same vein, I think that you're describing, like I like to look at the businesses and organizations that are choosing to place an ad in the paper, not as advertisers, but as supporters. Because really, the paper couldn't exist. The Chautauqua Gazette couldn't exist without the support of businesses, organizations, government entities here in Chautauqua County that make it possible. So. So we do sincerely appreciate them. I'm sure readers appreciate them. And hopefully it's an opportunity to provide that supportive partnership between the businesses and the readers, between all of us in the community, where we can get a better understanding in print of the wonderful opportunities we have available to us in dining and shopping and restaurants and the like, as services, contractors.
You and I have something in common, is that when people pick up your Gazette or they turn on this station, it doesn't cost them anything, right? It's free.
Exactly.
How cool is that?
Exactly.
And I'm sort of a feature TV show host. I mean, we feature stuff, and that's I think what you're doing too.
Exactly.
Gosh,
I know.
What's going on here?
Our lives have
I never dreamt to be a TV producer, and here we are.
Melded into a panacea of wonderful.
How did we get here?
Yeah.
I mean, when I think of our careers, I mean, I was in education, a school superintendent, a teacher, and here I am on TV. We're in our 11th year. Do you know that?
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, what a great team we have here. So, anyways, I know. So now,
2023.
2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. 2023. you're going from Jamestown Gazette to Chautauqua Gazette. So if I remember right, the Jamestown Gazette kind of covered mostly just Jamestown area. Is that the idea?
Well,
Originally.
I think, well, originally, way back when Stacy started the paper in 2011, I'd have to ask her for sure, but I believe, of course, the paper was centered in Jamestown, but I think she pretty quickly worked her way.
Trying to work out into the suburbs.
I think she pretty quickly worked her way out. So, during Stacy's tenure, actually, much to her credit, she expanded to 32 zip codes. So she was, dipping into Warren, out into a little bit of western Cattaraugus County, and of course, I call it kind of the whole I-86 beltway, if you will, from county line of PA all the way, to Frewsburg, Ellington, out that way. So, so we've continued that same distribution. I'm looking to further expand. We've tweaked locations and things like that, but really the rebranding to me is an effort to, I think, more completely articulate the breadth, the depth of the newspaper. So. Make no mistake, it isn't a Jamestown paper. It's a Chautauqua County paper.
It features
has
things.
been
It
for
features
many years.
things.
And really tries to comprehensively include as much of our county region as we can. So, and eventually I would like to expand. A lot of people. I'm from Dunkirk, so a lot of people. Are you going to come here? Are you going to come here? So we're working on it.
What I'm hearing right now is what we did here. At first we were kind of limited by technology, and then I always give this credit to Steve Gustafson, 10,000 Maniacs. He taught me how to stream, and so we stream live. And then the radio station worked with us, and then Facebook and YouTube. And so what we've done is basically what I suppose you've done is you've opened up your borders. You've opened up the county, because when I first moved to Chautauqua County, 50 years ago, believe it or not, I remember the North and the South. Okay? And by you and me and those others that are out there right now that are listening, I think we're trying to dissolve this imaginary, whatever the line is that goes north and south. We're one county. CHQ, there's another great example. So I think we're all in the same mindset of doing that. And if you ever read my column in Silver Magazine, it's called From Out of the West. And people go, what are you, a cowboy? I go, no. Y'all always talk about the North and the South. I don't live there. I live in West County. And so that's sort of my joke with people is that we can't be thinking about directions. We just talk about us. Right?
Nope, agreed.
So I am so curious of how in the world you go from that pile of newspapers, single issue, whatever, from the day you started. How do you do a newspaper? I know what it takes to run a TV show, but I don't know. Somehow I see this big building with all these print presses, and I don't think it's like that. I have this feeling.
Yeah,
so talk us through how do you do it? In addition,
it is. Every week we start with nothing and build. We brought some new and build this.
Okay.
And when you say you bought a zoo, it is kind of like corralling a beast. I start with lots of ideas and whittle down, put it on paper and edit up. But really, how do we do what we do at the Chautauqua Gazette? It's our incredible team. And I hope viewers and readers, your viewers, my readers, also your viewers.
And listeners. I have listeners too.
And listeners, listeners out there across the world, Doc tells me. But anyway, I digress. What would I say?
You're a great team.
How we do what we do is our incredible team. So I hope that all of the Gazette readers and your listeners and viewers had the opportunity, as I was saying, had the opportunity to check out the Gazette, not this past week. Well, I hope you check it out every week, but the week prior. It was actually the July 8th edition,
Okay.
we featured our team. And I did that as part of the rebranding effort so that our readers could understand how we do what we do and where the credit lies. And that's with, first and foremost, I have two incredible graphic design artists who I was very fortunate to inherit of buying a newspaper, an existent entity. Has many benefits, but above all, the opportunity to inherit April Colburn and Nick Trisalo, my two senior staff people. Oh my gosh, they are the most talented people maybe that I've ever worked with, and I've worked in a lot of different places. And their commitment, their artistic design. Over and over, people tell me they love the Gazette, all these Gazettes, because of how well it's laid out, because of how beautiful it looks, and that is Nick and April. So as you can tell, I'm very passionate about their dedication because publishing is hard work, and they work, repeatedly, wee hours of the morning every single week.
So they're full-time people?
The door. No, actually, I would like for them to be full-time.
Not yet.
I inherited the model from Stacy, and we've kept with it to date. As our business supporters increase, as the ability for the paper to bring people on full-time allows itself, I would like to bring them on. But no, that's, I think, one of the things that makes them so incredible is it's a second job for them.
Okay.
So we're talking wee hours in the morning.
These
then
folks, they assemble pictures and graphics into some kind of a format? I mean,
yes, so every week we're challenged with starting from scratch. So we design all of the ads, all of the articles, all of the components of the paper, and then they design individually each component and then compile it into one 24 to 32 page paper.
What? How many pages?
We're up to, we do 24 or 32.
What?
Yeah. Our printer,
I didn't know it was
and
that
I got
many.
a shout out to the printer. I contract with the Post Journal, so we're wonderful partners.
Okay.
Post Journal's our printer, and the Post Journal. I don't understand it. Someday I'm going to walk in there and say, explain to me why, but we can't print a 28-page paper, and printing is in 4s.
Okay.
I'm getting in the weeds here. These are all the publishing things I've learned. So we print a 24 or 32-page paper.
Okay, I believe you.
Yeah. So. It's a surprise every Monday you get.
All right, so
But,
this is all done on the computers, though, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
it's not the
all
old cut and paste and
digitized.
typesetting and all that jazz.
No, it's all digitized.
So they're dumping things into a template of some sort, I'm assuming, so that someone has built the framework for the Chautauqua Gazette, and then you place things in there, right?
Well, Nick built it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to explain this for others because I kind of understand it to some degree. All right, so you got the graphic artist. Then who else works for you?
Yes, so thank you. I also have a wonderful marketing director, Shannon Nixon, also freelancer. So Shannon's available, everyone, if you need some marketing consultation.
Okay.
And then Katrina Fuller has come on as our contributing editor, so essentially replacing Walt Pickett. Katrina Fuller is hopefully a familiar name to viewers and readers because she was a Post Journal writer for a long time.
Now that you mention it, yeah.
And then was the district director for Congressman Reed.
Okay.
So she, shares my commitment to the community. She's very well connected. So she serves as both a writer and an editor, and just has such a keen eye and background for that role.
Okay, so I understand writer because I'm a writer. So what does a contributing editor do?
Contributing editor. So she's our #1 editor.
That's spelled wrong, the grammar is wrong, you need to redo this sentence.
So I'm responsible to.
She's like your English teacher.
Yeah, no, exactly. If you saw the texts and email messages between Katrina and I, it's a constant. I rely on her so heavily. She's extremely talented, far better editor than I'll ever be, far better writer than I'll ever be. She yeah, I always joke with her, like, Katrina, help me. I don't know. I have this thought. I'll write a paragraph and then I'll have like a hole.
I understand.
And then another paragraph will start, and I'm like, can you just put something in that part right there?
The connecting textures
so
there.
yeah, she's just incredibly talented.
Okay, so she's your contributing editor.
So yeah, so we have Katrina. We have then a team of volunteer contributing writers, and again, if anyone out there is a writer, you have to be a writer, please. We have very high standards in the Gazette, but if you are a writer, we would, reach out to me. I think my number is going to be across the screen at some point there.
Well, you can pop it up if we have it, Jeff.
Yeah, anytime.
Okay.
Business supporters, writers, anyone that wants to participate.
Why don't you read it out loud so that people that are listening can hear it?
Sure. Feel free to text or call me anytime, 716-720-1845. My email is Cornell at chqgazette.com.
Okay, when they
So
call
feel
that
free to-
number, is this your cell phone or is this your business number? That's important to know.
Sure, it is my cell phone.
Okay.
So yeah,
So you will answer it, perhaps.
Business and personal. It's one and the same.
Okay.
Is there a difference? Is it just like all life?
You'd be surprised what I get on my phone.
No, it's the one and only. But anyway, I digress. Again, our contributing writers, we're just so indebted to as well. Also extremely talented. Top of our ranks, who writes very often for us, is the wonderful Pat Locke.
Okay, we all know Pat.
Many of us in the community know Pat because she's just so involved and so connected and out there, and so it makes not only is she an astute writer, but she also knows the community so well and is able to write about it.
She's from my hometown, you know that, Ripley.
Oh, no, I didn't know that. Well, yeah, she and her wonderful husband, Bill, live in DeWittville now, so I wasn't aware.
Who else you got?
But yeah, Pat is wonderful. Jordan Nicholson, an old Fredonia guy, also an incredible writer. Looking at my huge team here in our recent edition, but Paul Leone is a longtime writer
He's
for the Gazette.
Yeah, he's written a lot.
And I have to keep going back to Paul and twisting his arm. We're both Notre Dame graduates, so I play that card like, come on, Paul. He's a published author.
Yes, he is.
So extremely well respected, and I
know
think
that.
he elevates the caliber of the Gazette just by having him in there. But Sam Teresi, former mayor of Jamestown, started a column called Our Town, highlighting a lot of the wonderful facets of the city. And then each week, we're very proud to continue a column that Stacey Hannon started called Faith Matters.
Okay.
And we're a private entity, so we're proud to feature churches and pastors of different faith communities each week.
Nice.
Luke Fodor, pastor at St. Luke's Episcopal, serves as our lead pastor in that effort and kind of coordinating that operation. He's written for a long time for the Gazette, but we've since expanded it to include other faiths as well. So ideally every week you see a different pastor represented and a different message.
Very nice.
And I would definitely be remiss if I didn't mention our last two team members. One, I call him our distribution specialist, the best paper deliverer you ever did see, Matt Emmerling. He somehow, and I did try this my first week in the paper, but somehow he delivers almost 5,000 papers all over southern Chautauqua County, dips into Warren, dips over to Cat. Somehow in about, I think he does it in like 6 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, it's absolutely incredible.
He's got it done.
Over 200 different newsstands we distribute to. Everything from, where you get your Gazette, the gas station, the coffee houses, the restaurants, the stores, the shops, the doctor's offices, government buildings, all over, where we try to be everywhere. And Matt just never misses a beat. I mean,
I want you to hold on. We have a phone call.
Okay.
And we have one more person to mention, but we'll put that person on hold. So, good morning, caller.
Good morning, Jack.
Hi,
Good
Lynn.
morning, Lori. This is Linda Spalding. Lori, I know you. You look the same as you did 20 years ago.
Oh, thanks. I don't know.
Nothing's changed here.
The wrinkles and the gray hair don't show up on the camera, I guess.
I want to congratulate you. I really love the Jamestown Gazette, and I know Sam Teresi's got a great column. And thank you for putting our Lions Club information for us. You did a great job with our derby party.
Oh, good. I hope it was successful.
Yeah, it was. It was very successful.
Good.
So we'll be sending more information to you. And I'm a firm believer in privately owned papers and run papers. They're the best.
Well, thank you for that.
Thank you so much. You always call. I really appreciate that. So great to hear from you.
Oh, thank you. And Doc,
Yes,
you've done
ma'am.
a tremendous job with the Access.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
That's
you have, really.
I just talked. It's the guys, they put this all together. Wait. Does the Gazette make it to Chautauqua Institution?
It does. Yeah, actually.
Yeah.
Okay.
This year, I don't know if you've seen it, but this year we have a special partnership with Chautauqua at our Centerfold feature.
Oh.
Lists everything you need to know about Chautauqua each week. So the schedule, the speakers, all kinds of exciting
My work is done
information.
here then.
So our Chautauqua Centerfold, yeah, and we've been distributing very heavily there this summer.
Super.
So, yeah,
Well, thanks, Lynn.
great partnership.
Okay, have a great weekend.
Okay.
Thank you.
You too. Okay. Last person that you wanted to
Yeah,
comment
so
on.
Mark Scapoletti. He's also a contractor, a contract web developer and app developer. So he's working very hard to bring the Chautauqua Gazette up online into our new website.
Is he a drummer?
So he is, yeah. He's
Mark was on the show a long time ago.
Oh,
for something.
really? Yeah. He's one of the founding members of the Porcelain Bus Drivers, one of
Right.
my favorite local bands. And he too is, you sense a theme here, also incredibly talented. So stay tuned for that. I think Pat Locke's going to catch me here after. I know I'm going to get a text message from Pat, but I swear, I think we are ready to launch this new website tomorrow. I think. I hate to
Website of,
disappoint Pat, but
for the Gazette?
a new website, brand new website.
What's going to be on there?
The Gazette?
You can see the Gazette online?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, let's make a deal. When it goes live, send me the link and we'll let people know how to find it.
Well, fantastic. I appreciate it.
We can do these things.
Yeah, perfect. And speaking of supporters of the Gazette, there'll be all new and different opportunities then for business and organizations to support the newspaper online. So not only may you place your feature in the paper itself,
two different
but
forms,
you'll
yeah.
also be able to feature your business online.
Lori, this has been fun, and we're down to a minute and a half.
No way.
So
you and I can talk.
we could do that. Yes,
Yeah.
we can. So just real quick, why should somebody pick up now the Chautauqua Gazette when they see it? Because why?
Sure. Well, because it showcases our community. The Chautauqua Gazette is the pulse, is the heart of our community. It always has been. Much a credit to its founder, Stacey Hannon, and all of the businesses and organizations that make it possible every week. So please support the Gazette. If you are a business or organization, please give me a call. We need you. We rely on your support. We can't exist without you. If you're a reader, please keep on reading. We welcome writers. We welcome your feedback, and hopefully soon check us out online.
Excellent. Well, what we've talked about today is so important that we all are sharing information. It's hard for people to know what's going on. And so I'm pleased to be able to do that through this show, let people know that come to the county for the first time, they're vacationing here, or they own property, but they're here just seasonally. And now the Chautauqua Gazette. Well, congratulations. You
Thank
own
you so
a
much.
paper.
Yes, thank you for having me, Doc. Really
Absolutely.
appreciate
Well,
it.
come back anytime, but get us that website. We'll advertise. Send me,
All right,
send me a
perfect.
graphic.
Yes, absolutely.
Folks, I hope you enjoyed that. And this is one more source of information here in Chautauqua County, the Chautauqua Gazette. And my guest today has been Lori Cornell, the owner. Wow. So have a wonderful weekend and enjoy all the farmers markets, all the great things that we got going on here, in festivals, and just things everywhere, live music. So have a great weekend, and we're going to do this again next Saturday morning right here on Access Chautauqua. Bye-bye now.